Hi, my name is Danny Smith, and this is my cultural interview presentation. So to start off with, I interviewed my friend Carolina. She is from Lima, Peru, and moved to the US about 4 or 5 years ago, and she's currently a student. She's studying business and is working part-time during her off semester. She works at a chocolate shop. These are the questions I asked her. Most of the questions I talk about differences in culture between the two countries, the environment, family, food, education, healthcare, celebrations. I tried to cover a little bit of each aspect of culture. So just to summarize, we spent a while talking about schooling. In Peru, they have both public and private schools. Public schools are free, but usually a lower quality education, while private schools are more expensive. They're not free, you have to pay for tuition, but they do have a higher quality of education. And public and private schools exist from elementary school level education up until high school and even in college and university. And in Peru, college starts at age 16 rather than at age 18. And Carolina also pointed out that in Peru, most people, when they graduate from college, they don't go straight into a career. They instead have to work in an internship for a year or two at no or low pay. And after working there for a year or two, then they would be able to be hired uh, for a full-time job. We also talked about celebrations. Some of the most common celebrations in Peruvian culture are for birthdays and weddings. Particularly for birthdays is the quinceañera for girls when they turn 15. You can see that picture in the bottom right corner. And in Peru, she said that these events are much bigger than in the US, and there's a lot more dancing and a lot less talking. Carolina mentioned that when she came to the US, she was surprised at weddings that people would just provide maybe finger foods or snacks sometimes, while in Peru, they would provide full meals and have a beautiful venue and have hundreds of people there and have live music. And it's just different than what she has experienced in the US. Families also, and the culture around family, we also talked about. She mentioned that in Peru that the more traditional gender roles are common, where the men go out to work while the women stay home and take care of the kids or cooked. She mentioned that sometimes it's machista, meaning male dominated, but that it's also changing some and not becoming quite as divided. Another difference she pointed out was that kids live at home until they're married or until they've started a professional degree. That's largely due to the higher cost of living compared to the wages that people are able to earn before they start a professional degree or professional job. And extended family plays a very large role in culture there. We also talked about food. So in the bottom right corner, there's a picture of Carolina's favorite Peruvian dish. It's called pollo a la brasa. It's a roasted chicken dish. She also mentioned that they ate out much less in Peru than what she's seen in the US, and people spend a lot more time cooking there. The women will cook for 3 or 4 hours a day to prepare all the different meals. And we also talked about healthcare in Peru, that when I say very expensive on the side, I mean in the US it's very expensive compared to Peru. And then this is my reflection. One of the things I took away was the role of family and the home in Peruvian culture. If kids are living with their parents even into their 20s, then that lends itself to a closer relationship and a closer relationship with extended family as well. We also talked about celebrations and how important it is in their culture to celebrate and to recognize these special events in people's lives. And something that I thought was interesting was the healthcare system. In Peru, there's a public and a private healthcare system. The public healthcare system the public part is free but poorer quality, while the private healthcare sector is more expensive but higher quality. But even the private healthcare system in Peru is less expensive than healthcare in the US. Thanks for listening to my presentation. That's all.